So this is a film of the bank holiday weekend when we spent some time on the River Crouch. To be honest, it was such a dull weekend we weren't going to bother releasing the film. But then it occurred to us, most of you that watch us because you know who we are and the waters we sail on. And although this might not be exciting, it is exactly what happens on a bank holiday weekend when there's no wind. If you want to make use of the boat and get away, this is what you have to do. So what you're watching at the moment is us motoring up the Crouch heading towards Fambridge. We were planning on stopping in Burnham, but, well, I'll let Hannah explain it all in a little bit. Tiki, what's the one next to Tiki or whatever? 11. The one next to Tiki. Stay on that side as you fend us off if you have to.
So make sure our 3D camera is.
No, you ignore that. Well, no, I suppose you can.
Oh wait, I'm going to have direct view.
Go back. Silly really, completely benign day, no wind or tide or anything really to affect the movement of the boat, and I still managed to get the turn into this corner wrong. In my defence, we didn't really know exactly what spot it was until we'd almost arrived at it, and it is a big boat next to us and a pretty small gap, but still, sometimes you got to know when to bail out. Much better to do it early than hit something.
Yeah. What? Come on. There's people in the boat. That's not embarrassing at all, is it? It's not moving.
There are a few things for the kids to do in Fambridge. There's a comparatively new park on site, but then there's this park you see here out along the Fambridge Road. It's only a 20-minute walk or so away and it's really good. Alternatively, if you've got a dinghy on board, it's always a good adventure to paddle around the marina itself. You can't do it at dead low water because the back half of it dries out, but if you do it between quarter tide and half tide when there's not too much movement of the other boats, it's really good fun. You going round again?
Well, hello! We are in Fambridge. We didn't think we were coming to Fambridge. We thought we were going to Burnham. And then about 8 o'clock this morning, we rang Burnham up and they were full. So, lovely people at Fambridge managed to find us a berth, which we're really thankful for. Anyway, there's also a really lovely man at Burnham who has managed to find us a berth tomorrow. Which means we don't have to leave very early in the morning, Monday, to get out of here.
Yeah, we're only here for a long weekend.
Yeah.
And we had to get up at 4 o'clock this morning, or 3:30.
Look at the bags.
To get here. And because this place dries out, we'd end up leaving earlier, and we're further upriver, leaving earlier on Monday when we go back. So I thought we'll head back to Burnham. The girls can play in Burnham, and we're a little bit closer to getting home again on Monday.
But we've had a lovely day here. The girls have been in the park all day. We've had dinner in the ferryboat inn. We've had walks. They're currently crabbing. It's lovely. I really like it.
It's another just muddy hole in the ground, really, as is the East Coast. But this one doesn't completely dry out, which makes a difference. It's a lovely place. We like Fanbridge. It's a bit more in the countryside.
Yeah.
Although pretty much every clip I've taken on film has got drills going or hammers going or there's an aeroplane flying overhead and stuff. So
We are in the middle of nowhere.
You never do get away with. Anyway, we'll go for a walk. Let's keep going. We had to stop because it's narrow in here.
Come on, Winnie.
It's a funny looking boat. It's quite big. By a kind of modern coastal cruising boat standards, it hasn't got a very big mast. But it's hugely chunky, and I've just looked at that keel trying to work out what it is. And you can see right out through the top. There's big hydraulic rams in there, so I couldn't decide whether it's a swinging keel, because there doesn't appear to be a pivot, or just a big lifting dagger board. Weird. Anyone know anything about it? Must have a story.
I know the hot dog can isn't proper, but what is that funny thing?
When we've got it, hang on to the boat. Just go sideways. I'll start going back. Ready, Hannah?
Yeah.
There we go now. Look outside. Just work out.
You're not too far, but if you get on.
Won't you on?
Yeah, we're okay. Yeah, I've got it. Be clear at the bow. Is there a point about taking our lines off?
Tie them up so they can't melt.
Good morning, it is Sunday morning and we've just left Fanbridge on our way to Burnham. We've set the girls a challenge that they have to navigate their way to Burnham. Obviously we're watching, but we're just sailing, but I think we're going to put the engine on because we're actually going against the tide and not making much headway.
4 knots of wind.
4 knots of wind, 2 knots of tide, yeah. Anyway, the girls are in control today. They're looking like the Blues Brothers with their matching glasses. Pop the engine back on them. The whole way. Literally probably 30 seconds Ian took over while a fleet of phantoms were heading straight for them. But that's fair enough, that's a bit scary for anyone. But they've done brilliantly. They've looked at the chart, they've kept an eye on the depth, and Yeah. Future sailors in the making.
Bobby.
Yes, darling. Yeah, that's because she has a dog. No other reason.
You got cold.
We're nearly there. Ian and I will be on fender duty then, seeing as we're crew.
Jen, I don't think there is anything, so you don't need to worry.
Jen, you're looking at the numbers on the ends of the pontoons to try and find what you can see.
Where does it say? You can do it, Mum.
Short, so we're going to have to hold all positions, get a line on, and then we'll sort it out. Yeah, step over to it.
Put it on.
Ooh. Yay!
As ever, we had a great time at Burnham. We like the place. But you don't want to watch us doing family things. Let's get back on board the boat.
It's early. We got up at 6:30, but Winnie had us up at 5:30. And we took her for a quick walk, and then we left Burnham at 7. So we're shooting along at the moment. Knackered.
Now when you watch all these YouTube channels and they're always sailing on sunny days, well, it might work like that when you're professional YouTubers and this is what you do for a living, but for us living in the real world who have to earn a job, have to earn a living doing a job, then you only get to sail at the weekends or this bank holiday. You have to take what you get, and sometimes you just have to motor. Might not be sailing, but it's still time on the boat, and if we were just doing this for the sailing, you wouldn't go out on a day like today. But this weekend's been about a family holiday, making the most of the bank holiday, and you have to just put up with the weather you get. So when we planned this a week or so ago, it was going to be comparatively warm, periods of sunshine. They did say not much wind, but it sounded perfect. But and although the weather has been pretty good this weekend, it's Monday now and we're going home, and it's very cold again, mainly because there's this sort of light fog mist that's settling in. There is zero wind, it's just flat calm. and we're going to have to motor for 6 hours to get back. But that's the way it goes. But that does bring up another point, really. Coastal sailing on the East Coast, the sort of sailing we do, you don't really have to do navigation, or not what I'd call navigation. We're never having to, we never go just from A to B. We never have to worry about kind of, I don't know what the right term is, but you know, kind of cross-track error or whatever from the tide sweeping you from left to right or something. Because we're always basically going up a channel. One way, shape or form, we're going up a channel. Be that out of the Medway or up through the Thames Estuary or down in through the Crouch. It's always a channel, which means our kind of navigation is just what I'd call pilotage, which is basically just sticking in a channel and joining the dots between all the navigation buoys that are on that channel. Which is good in that it makes it simple. You know, especially with modern GPS, you just basically, like I say, join the dots, follow the course. But it's kind of bad in as much as it's only 6 hours or so this journey back to the Medway, but you don't really get a rest because you're always having to look for where the shallow water is, where all the buoys are, make sure you don't hit anything. Because we're on the coast, there's crabbing lines and pots to look out for. It means you have to keep focused, which on a dull, boring day like today, it's a bit, it'd be nice to just stick the auto helm on and just let the boat do its stuff, but you kind of can't do that. Anyway, my arms are getting tired, so I'm going to go back to just steering and watching for pots and steering the boat.
Mr. Foxwell, why have we slowed the engine right down?
Because we're cutting the corner at the Whittaker and the depth's down to 1.3 on our thing, which is more like 1.5, but it's still, since we draw 1.4, it's a bit...
And we did get it down to 1.2, let's just add.
We're just on the edge. We tried cutting the point and we're just on the edge of it. It's going to get deep soon, but...
not yet, we're over the sandbank at the moment. Let me just show you.
We're still floating at the moment.
People the chart. There you go, look. Look at that. We are just about to get into the... Ian thinks we did just touch. Might be aground now, we're not really moving. We should be in the white stuff, that's good. Anyway, that was a bit of excitement on this really dull, non-sailing, motoring day. Ian does like to generate some excitement.
Tide's coming in.
It's fine. You know me, I'm always calm. Who wouldn't want to run aground miles out at sea?
Now, I'm not going to condone the use of lobster pots, because to us sailors they're a real blight on our sailing water, so you always have to keep a lookout. But as lobster pots go, or markers go, these are about as good as it gets. So well done, this bloke.
There's at least 3 or 4 of them that I can see. They're all this bright orange, like a fender type buoy. Good.
Okay, so I know I said there was 4 or 5 or something of those lobster pots. There's more than a dozen we've passed now. This is middle deep up the east coast. If you're coming this way, keep an eye out for them, because on the way up here in a very typical east coast chop, which we didn't film a lot of, I only saw 4 or 5 of them. So they're easy to miss, even though they're bright, if it's typical conditions, shall we say. So we're just approaching the shipping lanes on the Thames estuary again. When we came out, it was dark. I came out at like 4 o'clock, and we don't have AIS on board this boat, but I do have internet. So I downloaded the Marine Traffic AIS app. So I had a clue as to what was coming up and down the Thames estuary as I was going across it. Because there's so much lighting around here, like Sheerness Docks is lit up like a football field. There's spotlights all around it. You know, the other side of the river and South End is all lit up. It's very hard to pick out individual lights as they're, you know, they're on the water. Anyway, the Marine Traffic app told me that there was indeed, just as I was coming out, there was a ship coming in. So I thought, okay, I'll stay on the left-hand side coming in, because any ship going in was almost certainly going to Sheerness Docks. Hold on, I've got to swap arms. Yeah, going to Sheerness Docks. So I thought I'll stay on the left and I can keep out of his way. But so I'm looking for this ship, and like I say, Sheerness Docks has got a big line of spotlights that go all the way down it. And this ship was actually coming straight towards me, and it had huge spotlights on the front of it. It was well lit up, but you couldn't see it because it was kind of the next block of lights on the end of the line of lights that was coming out of Sheerness Docks. So it wasn't until yeah, I was getting closer to it, and then I could start to see the side of the ship, that I could realise that actually no, what I was looking at was the ship that was on the AIS tracker. So makes you wonder how, you know, how people get on without electronics, because that was not easy to see, and I knew it was coming. The other thing I note as coming out was both grain hard and grain edge, big green, you know, channel markers that are marking the entrance to the Medway. Because like I say, I kept up that side to keep out of the way of the ship. Neither of those had lights on, and again, because it was dark and it was a very overcast day, so there was no moonlight, there was only the kind of you know, the light pollution, if you like, from everything else that was lighting things up. Again, I didn't see these boys until I was comparatively close to them. Again, because I've got, you know, chart plotter and stuff, I knew they were coming up, so I was kind of looking out for them. But yet again, if you didn't rely on the electronics in this day and age, it would be hard to see all this stuff. So yeah, it gives me more appreciation for, well, I suppose sailors of old, okay, they didn't have electronics, but they didn't have half as much of the stuff that we have to worry about to worry about. So I suppose it swings around at us, but it goes to show, in this day and age, really, you should make use of your electronics, because your eyes can be fooled. That doesn't happen very often. We've just crossed the first of the two major shipping channels into the Thames, and there's nothing in sight. There's one boat ahead of us going into the Medway. There's one boat a long way past that's come out of the Thames, but nothing else around. Makes it easy. Wish it was like that when I came out here at 4 o'clock in the morning on Saturday.
Trip into the river has been made more complicated by this big ship. These tugs are turning around. I think it's going to the gas dock, refinery, whatever it is. It's on this part of the river. There's always an exclusion zone around it that everyone abides by. But we're going to go around the back of it anyway.
wonderful bank holiday. The weather hasn't been as kind with the sunshine, but there's been absolutely no wind again, which is really surreal. So we've motored everywhere, but at least we've got away and we've been out on the water. The girls have had fun and we visited Fanbridge and Burnham, so that was really cool. Happy sailing!